No, that title and thumbnail are not clickbait. I truly do enjoy and have fun using this gravity electric grinder set from Senzer. It has really brought into me a joy that I rarely have seen when using spices in my foods. So let me go ahead and show you how it works. I'm going to do 3 different levels of grinding. A coarse grind, as coarse as I can get. You know it's as coarse as you can get because when you keep unscrewing it, the ceramic blade does not go any higher, and there's a gap between the gray knob that you twist and the white ceramic that's going to grind for you. So now I have the coarsest settings. We can see how coarse it can get, and we're just going to let the grinder do the work. Don't have to do any shake or anything. It does all the grinding itself. Unlike some other grinders I have used, it also comes with an on-off switch so I can turn it off, and a handy little brush if you need to brush out the extra. I'm only brushing out the extra so that we can see full differences between coarse, and next up is going to be a medium grind. So I'm going to turn the knob down to more of a medium grind. Now I've turned the knob down to medium grind, so we'll see how that one works. More of a medium grind on the pepper. But it doesn't stop there. We can get even to a fine grind. Again, I'm going to use this brush. Now I usually do not use this brush to brush out the pepper, but I'm doing that today so that I can do different levels. That's when you might use it, if you want to do different levels of coarseness. So I'm going to grind it all the way down to the finest I can get it. This is where I tend to like my pepper, at the finest grind you can, and we'll see how fine we can get it. I'm going to turn it on and grind it down. You can see that it just goes on its own. It never stops. You can hear how loud it is, and that is a lot of fun to be able to do with just one hand. You can see the differences in the 3 grinds. There is a coarse grind here, pretty coarse. There is a medium grind, if you like medium instead. And here is the fine grind. So fine, it's just like a powder. Coarse, medium, and fine grinds. But it just doesn't do pepper, it also does salt. The salt one you can see I have filled pretty much all the way up. I'm going to show you how to fill up the pepper one in a little bit. But again, I'm starting off with the coarsest grind I can. And we'll show a side-by-side comparison of this salt to kosher salt. Alright, and that's how coarse the salt can come out. You can see how coarse it is. We're going to compare that salt to a bit of kosher salt, so you can see the difference. So take a look at the pink salt, that's a lemon salt I just ground, and you have the white salt, which is a kosher salt. So you can kind of see the difference in the grains there. You can see the difference in the size of the grains and how good they are. So let's continue on. So now I've set it down to a medium grind, and let's see how medium sized this one is. But you know, you can stop at the medium grind. It's a pretty good grind, about the same size as the kosher salt. Those are very similar insides, the kosher salt and the medium grind, but we can go even further down to a fine powder. This is going to come out to the fineness of powdered sugar. It takes no effort to flip it over. The salt just comes pouring out at a nice rate that you can salt your foods to your delight and your desire. But you can see this pink salt, pink and lemon salt, is now a very, very fine powder. You can see the 3 different sizes we have here. We have the really coarse, which is pretty good. We have the medium coarse, and we have a fine powder like salt here. This one, it's like powdered sugar size. So you can choose how thin you want your salt using this one electric grinder. So what does this come with? It comes with the salt and pepper grinder. It comes with this base. It comes with a charging cable that has a USB connector. Now this is the one downside of this salt and grinder set that I do not like, is that you have a connector. It doesn't come with one of the wall mounts, so you have to actually buy this separately if you didn't get one from your cell phone or whatever other device you have. So yeah, it'll still fit into any USB. But that's where you're going to have to charge it. And it came with this brush that you can use to brush out the kernels. Now, the first thing you'll have to do if you get this set is you have to charge it. So in's going to go the charger, goes into the back, you plug it in, and then you plug it into your wall mount. Or you can plug it in your computer, I guess, but why would you ever want to do that? And then when you plug it in, you can see the lights on top are going to light up. Now the manual says it will take about 2.5 hours for the first time you charge it. It has not yet run out of battery power for me, but I'll put in the comment below probably how many days it takes before it runs out of power and I have to charge it again. Because I have been using these almost daily. Every time I cook and I need either salt or pepper or both, I will use these grinders now because they are so much fun to use. Controls the amount you have, grinds it to the size that you like, and grinds it very well. How do you load it? You can see I've loaded up the salt one perfectly as far as I can. I'm going to load up the pepper one. You might think because of this small cylinder it's not going to hold very much pepper, but on the contrary, it holds a lot. So we're just going to flip this switch to the middle so that the arrows line up. You pull it out and now it's ready to accept your peppercorn. And you can use any peppercorns you like. I'm just going to pour in some peppercorn. You can see how much we can pour in. Now we're going to close it up, tighten it, and pour it in. You can see it looks pretty full. So now it is full of pepper. You can see quite a bit of that went in, and it is ready for a long time use of pepper. To show you how well these work for cooking, I am going to show you how I use them on these baked potatoes that I'm making for a side dish today. If you want to see my recipe for baked potatoes, you can click on the link in the description below. But today we're going to use some salt and pepper. We already oiled them up, already washed them, punctured them holes. So now it's ready to go ahead and grind some salt on them. I'm going to go ahead and change the setting on my salt because it was to 5 and now we have it over to a medium setting. And then I'm going to just go ahead and turn it on in one hand. And then I'm going to grind it on top of the potatoes. Now you can see I can actually rotate the potatoes with my other hand, make it so that the grinder does not get messy with my other hand, which is very helpful for my use, that I can actually use my other hand as well. It makes you turn it off because one thing I have found, if I accidentally knock it over, which I often do with these grinders, they will not turn on. Unlike other electric grinders that do not have the on-off switch, they will turn on if you knock them over. So two things that are very handy here. The on-off switch, where it's going to not turn on when you knock it over. And the other handy thing, when I use it, I can use my other hand to turn the meat, or in this case, baked potatoes. So I'm going to turn it around, but I don't need to get this thing all messy by using two hands on a regular grinder. When you're using the non-electric grinders, you're going to have to use two hands to grind your spices to add that flavor to your food. But with this, it's just one hand ground and I just turn it around. And I do not have to use two hands. That way I can have my fresh ground without having to wash my hands and flip over the food, wash my hands, flip over the food. Or find some other way to use two hands to grind and get all sides of your food ground. So that's another reason why I love it, because I can use one hand operation, and when you tip it over, it doesn't turn on because it has an on-off switch. So if you like what you see of this gravity electric grinder set from Senzer, feel free to click on the link in the description below. That'll take you to the Amazon page where you can buy your own. And you must watch this next video. It's going to show you another fun gadget that I use in the kitchen all the time.